Day 444 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 1957, delete characters to make fancy string. The difficulty level is easy, but don't worry because you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as well. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. A fancy string is a string where no three consecutive characters are equal. Given a string S, delete the minimum possible number of characters from S to make it fancy. Return the final string after the deletion. It can be shown that the answer will always be unique. Alright, y'all. So that sounds simple enough, but let's go ahead and take a look at these examples anyway, just to make sure that we're doing this problem correctly. So in example 1, we have our input S equals LeetCode, L-E-E with 3 E's, L-E-E-E-T-C-O-D, and our output is LeetCode with 2 E's, L-E-E-T-C-O-D-E. Explanation says remove an E from the first group of E's to create LeetCode with 2 E's. No consecutive characters are equal, so return LeetCode with 2 E's. So, as you can see, it says right here, a fancy string is a string where no 3 consecutive characters are equal. So in our input, we have 3 consecutive characters that are equal right here, and those characters are E. So we have to delete one of these E's so that no 3 consecutive characters are equal. And when we have LeetCode with 2 E's, that fits our requirement of not having 3 consecutive characters that are equal. So we delete one of the E's and return LeetCode with 2 E's. Now, just in case that didn't make sense, let's take a look at example 2, where we may have multiple occurrences of characters with 3 or more equal characters. So in example 2, we have our input S equals a string A, 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 B, A, 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 A. The output is a string A, A, B, A, A. Explanation says remove an A from the first group of A's to create A, A, B, A, 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 and remove 2 A's from the second group of A's to create a string A, A, B, A, A. No 3 consecutive characters are equal, so return the string A, A, B, A, A. So as you can see, in this case, we have 3 consecutive characters that are equal right here, and then we have 4 consecutive characters that are equal right here. So what we need to do is delete one of these characters, one of these A's, and delete 2 of these A's so that we end up with this string right here where we have 2 A's on each side, which are 2 consecutive characters instead of 3, right? We have 2 consecutive characters here and 2 consecutive characters here, but that's less than 3, so it fits our requirement, and that's why we return AAB, AA, because we just delete one of these A's and 2 of these A's, so we do not have 3 consecutive A's on either side. Now, see, if we deleted one of these A's, we would still have 3 consecutive A's. That's why we need to delete 2 of them so that we do not have 3 consecutive A's, and our final output would be this right here. Now let's take a look at example 3, where it's an example of where there are no 3 consecutive characters, so we just return the same string. So in example 3, we have the input S equals a string AAB. Our output is AAB. Explanation says no 3 consecutive characters are equal, so we return AAB. So I hope that made sense to y'all, and now that we understand the question, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to convert the input string to an array of characters for easy indexing. So to do that, we're going to say let chars equal, it's going to be an array, open up the parentheses S. So we're going to pass in this S, which is a string. We're going to pass it in here, which is going to turn it into an array. Boom. Then we need to initialize the result string with the first character. So we can declare a variable called res, and we're going to set that equal to a string, open up the parentheses, chars square bracket 0. Boom. Then we're going to say comma, because now we're going to create another variable called curString. That's what that comma does. and we're going to set that equal to chars square bracket 0. And that's going to keep track of the current character we're counting. Then we're going to add one more variable by saying comma count equals 1. So we're going to count is going to keep track of how many times the current character has appeared consecutively for us. Now we need to come underneath this and we need to iterate from the second character because we're starting from the first character right here. Boom. So then we come underneath this and we say for I in 1 dot dot less than sign chars dot count. We're going to open up the brackets, and if the current character is the same as the previous one, we check that by saying if chars square bracket I is equal cur string, because remember cur string is already the first character, so that's why we start from the second character. And if this second character is equal to the first character, then we're going to increment our count by plus equals 1 because count keeps track of the consecutive characters for us. And then if we already have 2 or more of the same character in a row, we could skip adding this one. So we're going to say if count is greater than or equal to 3, we can open up the brackets and we could just say continue just like that. Then we could come right here and we're going to say else. Going to open up the brackets. If the character changes, we're going to reset the tracking variables. So we're going to say cur string equals chars square bracket I, and then we're going to come underneath that and we're going to say count, set that back equal to 1. Now we need to append the character to the result since it passed the check by coming right here and saying res plus equals string, open up the parentheses, chars square bracket I. Boom. Then we need to return the cleaned up string with no 3 consecutive identical characters by coming right here and just say return res. Now that should be all she wrote, y'all. Let's go ahead and give it a run. Make sure it runs properly before we submit it. Now let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still accepted after we submit it. And look at that, y'all. It's accepted. 154 milliseconds means 83.33% of users. That's what I'm talking about. Those are some all right numbers right there. We'll get those numbers up to 100% as we continue down our LeetCode journey. But right now, we just want to be able to solve the solution that is presented to us, and I feel like this is a good solution for that. So with that being said, y'all, make sure you get one more look at the code. This the whole code. This is all the code right here. Boom. And yeah, with that being said, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.